Greetings. What happens when we are intensely seeking some solutions in life and we are not getting? From everywhere there is water coming in. You go to handle this and that goes wrong. That go to handle that goes wrong. And anywhere you go, you find only problems, especially to spiritual aspirants. Have you noticed such kind of things happening in life? When things go seem to go wrong everywhere. Well, that's because life is simply trying to teach you something. You have not prepared yourself in such ways when the time is conducive. Now, when the time is not conducive, we run helter skelter. We have not changed our habits. This is our regular pattern and conditioned mind and behavior. Only when we have problems in life, we remember God. We remember the Guru. We remember all our friends. We remember everything that can give us some light, some hope, some solutions. And when things are going good, we take all of these for granted. This is a regular conditioned behavior of human beings. And that is why when we are in that kind of a living mode, it's what is called as ego, living in the ego mind. Because only when I want, I make use of things, and when I do not want, I do not care for anything. How many times have you noticed that you have taken your own family members for granted, your own friends for granted, your own gifts for granted? Everything you have in life, you have taken it for granted. Anything and everything that you take for granted will slowly start moving away from you. That's the nature of life. So the way to be grateful is first to activate the spiritual being that you are, because the ego will never feel grateful. The ego is only a complainer. The ego is only looking to find more happiness, more success, all in this gross world, and at the expense of anything. I don't care. It might be at the suffering of somebody. It might be at the loss of somebody. This is how we create that kind of karma, which we are then bound to repay. Why are we doing such an act? Why are we living such an unconscious life? Because we are unconscious. What do? Activate, become conscious, become aware. That is what shifting into awareness is all about. You awaken from that looped living of gloom. You have to awaken, because that's your right. That's the free will that you have at this moment, which if you exercise, things can start changing. Otherwise, no God can save you, no guru can save you, nobody can save you. But life is very merciful, and what we call as God only functions through life. He's very merciful. That is why, simply, if you go very deep into spirituality, you will understand how everything is your own reflection. That's what we are doing these days in higher tattvas, when we say that I come to know and I realize I am that self, I am that Shiva, and that Chaitanya which I am seeking here and there. And sometimes in philosophically I say God is in the tree, God is in the stone, God is there. Philosophically, okay, but how does this relate? I will never know if God is in a stone until I realize God is here. And I have to experience that. So once, even if it is a glimpse, it won't stay with you. It will come, it will go, you will get back into your ego self. It's a very common thing. Because if it stays, you're self-realized and you're liberated, you're Jivan Mukta. And the whole attempt is to make that stay. Are you getting it? This is the journey of self-realization. There's nothing much to do. So there is nothing to go and achieve. You have to realize that it's you only. For that, all the clouds you have to remove. And that's what we do in shifting into awareness. We are just removing clouds. We are removing the clutter, dirt, noise, the mala. Once you remove the mala, mind becomes nirmala. Once it becomes nirmala, it becomes nischala. Still, once you realize you're still, you'll realize that the stillness is God. That is what Shiva Sutra Shiva says, I am stillness. But to realize these are very deep secrets or deep realizations. This can become a philosophy and we can sit in philosophy. What I am talking about, these two different states. First, I talked about me being in the ego self and stuck up in the world and samsara. I'm still trying to come out of samsara. And on the other end, I'm talking about deep secret. Which to handle, what to handle. If you are busy handling your samsara, you will never ever realize these higher truths. But if you learn this art of being in the middle, that is in awareness, You can activate the higher truths while living in the world. That is the true meaning of Jivan Mukta. You are in the world but not of the world. This is what life is trying to teach you, that all that you're trying to gain in this world, running like mad morning to evening, is not going to stay with you. Sooner you realize it, the better. I refuse. I refuse to believe this. Then believe me, life is going to find every single opportunity to get you back to that higher truth. And that is what you call as problems and challenges. The more you deviate, the more ego I activate, the more rigid the life will appear, because as I told, the life is a reflection. And life appears rigid because I am rigid. So life is the Mahaguru. Life is trying to tell you, change your ways, become humble, realize who you are. Run, no problem, run into the samsara, but at the same time, at least stop for a moment to find out who you are. Who is this one who is running? Investigate where are you running and why are you running and what happens after the running. You get something. How long is that something which you are running whole life for going to be with you? When you have the guts and courage to sit and contemplate and look through this is called spiritual activation. This is called a spiritual being. This is a spiritual aspirant according to me. Rest all is nonsense. Rest all what you do is nonsense. Until you activate this, until you realize the real and higher truths of what you are existing for and the fakeness of everything around. It cannot come by just saying this is Maya, Maya, Maya. To realize this is Maya, I have to know my real self first. Only from that Chaitanya you will come to know that this is a projection of the mind. So I have to know my mind first. If I say mind is the creator of all the problems, I need to know my mind first. If I say I am the creator of my destiny, I must know my mind first, because mind creates. So in every way, whether you want to create some good life for yourself, to be a successful creator also, you first need to know your mind. And you not becoming the mind, but the one who's running the mind, if you become that, it's very easy to create also. So that is what I encourage. Go into that zone and then create and then live this world. You will not be entangled in this world, because that is a different living. That is a different creation. Otherwise, if you are not activating that and you create, you will be in Bhogvilas. You'll just be lost. Because all that you see is Bhogvasana, that's all. And the unconsciousness of not knowing that what you are trying to get, all these great dreams that you write on in your books. You don't know. You feel that you're going there and going to attain it forever. So when you go with that kind of a force, and when life starts snatching it away from you, you'll be in a terrible shock. Because you have worked hard to get that. You have created, you have manifested. But all that you manifest will dissipate. Now, knowing this, you create, your taste will change, your desires will change. What you create will be very conscious. You'll not go for everything. You'll not scramble. I have seen this, where people sit with their desires and write it in their books, and then we do these processes for a couple of months, then I say, now write. Drastic changes. That is what your soul wants. This is what your ego wants. So if you go in this track, you are bound to be facing lot of obstacles, because everywhere you'll feel stuck. Who's stuck? The ego consciousness. Who is not stuck? The Chaitanya. The awareness can never get stuck. If I don't say you will not have ego, if you shift into awareness, no, you will have. But you will know that you are not the ego. You are not the body. You are not that mind and the one who is feeling. I'm in control. You are not that control freak. You are the one who is observing that control freak. Then you become more powerful than that control freak. Then even if that control freak freaks out, you are still in charge of yourself, because you are not the control freak. If you're interested to join this kind of a journey, you're most welcome on this platform. Step by step, we have all the devices, and now things are becoming more clearer with the grace of the Lord. Everything becomes clear, and we are setting it up very, very properly. So there is no chaos. I don't want to reveal it here because I know there are people waiting, masterminds. They will simply take this idea and they will recreate something, and it will not even look similar. This is what has happened many, many times. I've seen that. So this shouldn't be kind of exploitation. This is, and this will not happen until you have the pure intention to go towards the highest thinking. For that, you have to constantly question, who's this one? Where have I come from? Where am I going? And who am I? If you don't question this, mark my words, you'll have problem after problem. Again and again you'll have. I've had so many people who come to me for solutions, and then we sit talking even for hours. And I am trying to get a point across to them, but all that they want to catch is a quick solution because they are not in that awareness. They are in the ego consciousness. So all that the ego consciousness is catching is totka, a quick solution in that, some remedy to simply satisfy their greed and overcome their fears. Those desires are all that based. And they take that and they go. Only for that moment they feel relieved. But once they go and create, because the ego consciousness is creating something without awareness, sooner or later they end up in trouble and they come back again. So every time that coming back is again in ego consciousness. So then I stop giving any solutions, because until you raise your consciousness, you're not going to understand me. We are not on the same frequency. It might seem so. We are talking. Physically we are talking. But what I am trying to tell is different. What you're catching is different. What I am trying to raise you up to is different, and where you are catching and stooping is different. Operational level is different. We are only talking conversation. That is why these satsangs, so-called pravachans, I don't believe in it. Previously I used to sit and do this live, where I am talking with an intention and people, they take whatever they want to take and screw it up. Then I said, let me do it only with the people of certain vibration, because then what I am talking will be relatable. And for that, it took me almost close to 2 years to myself set that platform, to myself set away those protocols and those strict, stringent fences, filters, where you can enter, but you cannot simply be there in those places where you are desiring something from the worldly aspect, and you come in the form of seeking for the self. You're telling you seek the self or higher truths, but actually you are still fascinated with the lower truths. You are trying to use higher truths to fulfill your lower truths. Dangerous. That is what people do with siddhis. They go into higher truths, they meditate on the higher, they get powers, but they use it for the lower. This is all payable and accountable. That time we might not know, but time shows it up. So, the sooner we understand this, the faster we settle down. Because my ultimatum is never to give you your family goal. That is why I tell very clearly, I am not here to fulfill all your family dramas, your worldly dramas. Don't come to me with that. I am no guide. I am no master who is trained to get you out of worldly problems. But once you're done with the world, then come. We'll have a talk. What is it done with the world? Once you realize what you're running and all these things, it's mundane. The happiness that you're seeking in all this is not there. You realize it anyway. You go and have the bhog. You create your desires and go and enjoy it, and then fall, suffer, weep, get bruised, and then come crawling also. There's no problem. Or you go there with your common sense. You say, what the hell? Why should I go into this? Or due to your own prarabdha, due to some grace that will protect you and tell you, no, it's not something. Any of these three or any more also. Get enlightened. Get beyond thinking, beyond that worldly stuff, beyond the ego consciousness. Then come, we'll have a talk. Then I know what I'm talking will be meaningful, and it will be damn superbly helpful. The whole thing is that even when you rise above this, rise in the sense, even when you see the mundane things and when you suffer, and then you come and you surrender to the higher, because life will bring you down. And when life brings you down to your knees, remember that's the best position to pray. Life will make you pray. Because somewhere life will make you realize, no, you're not great. You think you are great. If you don't trust, go on and see. There is a higher power that runs. That is where the divine will. So right now we can play with free will, free will, free will. You will come to know there is something called divine will. I don't want to talk about it right now. But a time comes. Only at that time you are moving towards freedom. Till then the free will be the cause of your suffering. So when we come with that kind of a frame of mind, you are ready. And then we can talk. And talk in the sense, not discussions. My talk means you sit for webinars. You sit for free Zoom sessions. Okay, no, I never encourage personal talk. I've completely stopped, whoever it is. On the phone, even my friends and relatives, family, even family, whoever. You want to have the real talk, sit in the satsang, because there I'm in a different frequency and there is where I'm delivering. Here, I might come into my ego consciousness, I might be polluted by your stuff, and I might not be able to give you because I can get emotional. I can get tied up with I can get obligations. You have done me a favor somewhere, and then I sit with an obligation. It's not going to work. There I'm crystal clear, neutral. So when I say talk, it is not personal talk. If somebody wants real solutions, then you must be there in these satsangs. You must go through that purging, releasing, and then realizing you have to work on yourself. I'm there to guide you there. So once the cleaning is done, then I'll make you only find solutions there. I will never give you solutions. I never do that. So that's the process we follow. If you're interested, we can. Otherwise, go ahead and live whichever way you feel, whichever method you feel is right. It's all fine. Everything is fine. But I'm telling you, this is the way we work here in shifting into awareness. So stay blessed. Much prayers, divine love, and light to all of you. Bye.